What's gone on behind the scenes at the Hindu?
Nothing. There are people who know me, so they occasionally put it, and then they get questioned. Why did you do it? They said, no, he wrote on economics, and it's got nothing to do with politics, that sort of thing.
Where else, as a podcaster, will I get someone who's this direct? We're from within the BJP. From within the BJP.
Everybody says only one, me, and nobody else.
Are you not scared?
I was not born that way. My mother used to say that there's some wire missing in your brain, that you're never afraid of anything. But there was a Hindu-Muslim riot in Turkman Gate in Delhi in 1947. I was a 7-year-old boy. And I suddenly vanished into the Turkman Gate to see what's happening. My mother was, really besides herself. And then we came back and she asked me, what did you do? I said, I went inside and just looked around. And some shopkeeper gave me some food. And then I came back. Now, she couldn't believe it, but this happened. Emergency. I had 18 cases put on me by Mrs. Gandhi. I had escaped abroad to campaign. Then I came back to India with 18 cases on my head and landed in New Delhi airport, went to my own house and lived in my own house with about 25 policemen sitting outside. And then came to Parliament and made a 1-minute speech and buzzed off. Nobody could catch me. How do you explain that?
Have you ever been in danger physically? Like, have people come
It's been pointed out to me that you're in danger. But my faith is Lord Vishnu.
You've never had anyone trouble you or anyone?
They have been in the emergency. There was a lot of trouble.
Not now?
Now I have not had it.
What's the workings of the BJP as a party on the inside?
Right now, there's nothing. It's all broken up. We have a very wonderful party constitution. All that has been disrupted. Everything is nominated by Modi. So Modi and Swamy, they are only two members whom you can call as genuine members of the party.
What about pre-2014?
Well, much before pre-2014, there was elections regularly. There were changes in the presidentship without anyone deciding who it will be. There was voting. It was one of the finest systems that had been there from Jansangh days. And that has all been thoroughly disrupted by Mr. Modi.
I remember the interview you did with AAA News again. You spoke about how the data that we receive as the audiences about the GDP growth is not
bogus.
It's manipulated accordingly.
It's bogus. Yeah, I agree.
But do you not believe that the current BJP government has done any positive for the country?
No, not any positive thing. Many things are done without even the government doing anything about it. So there are lots of things that are happening which are very positive. Indians, for instance, going abroad, that's not the government doing it. There are people who strive to do it. They go and make money. The question is, as the agricultural growth rate, the manufacturing growth rate, and the services sector growth rate, are they what the government is claiming it to be? 8%, 9%. Rubbish. It's not more than 4%. How do I know that? Because I recalculated the whole thing. One of the things that they are doing is they are evaluating GDP at current prices. That means it includes the inflation. So much of the growth rate of 8%, half of it is due to inflation. Keep it at the 4 years ago or 5 years ago prices rate, and then evaluate the products. And then you'll get only a 4% growth rate, which is very, very poor.
So you're saying that the 8% that's showcased to the public is to create a positive
How can you create a positive thing? It will be soon found out. Why is there no decrease in unemployment? But they don't publish it. I've got a copy of it.
So realistically, practically, what's India going to look like in 2030?
What is India going to look to 2030, assuming that Mr. Modi is going to be the Prime Minister?
Yes.
It will be 1930 of United States.
Recession and
The
unemployment.
Great Depression. We'll be in a massive depression.
Economically, this is the economics professor inside you speaking.
Economically, people will be on the road. You'll have to produce, like in the United States, it was there.
And what are specifically, if you get a little bit into economic policy, according to you, what are 3 to 4 very wrong decisions that we're taking?
Raising income tax rates regularly, hiking the interest rates, which discourages people, not caring about the demand side of the economy, and going for the supply side. You can have a large number of cars in the showroom, but nobody is buying it, or very few are buying it, like that. So inventories are growing.
So this narrative of us getting into manufacturing, that we should be getting into manufacturing.
We must produce demand. Demand is very poor in India.
Because most of our population is...
Yeah, there no much income, we see. The inflation is eaten up most of it.
So if you were in charge entirely of policy, you would first and foremost cater to increasing demand by elevating poorer sections of society.
No. I will start by abolishing income tax. And I will create a huge new mentality in the country. People will jump with joy. You don't know how much they will jump with joy. And that money, I will tell them, put it in the bank that you're getting. And it'll give you not 4%, 5% interest rate. We'll give you 9% interest rate. And then use that money for investment. People will save gladly. If you say that for 5 years they'll get 9% interest, everybody will come and put the money there for you.
What's the point of having high income tax?
What's the point? There's no point. Income tax, you can't collect it. Who collects it? So it's all been collected for the personal pockets of the income tax people and the ministers who get a cut.
So you don't think that the high income tax is going towards the development of the nation?
Not at all.
But all this progress that we see, at least in roads...
Which progress? They are all... roads. How much does it cost to build a road? That's because of Gadkari. Nothing else. If there was no Gadkari, you would have had potholes like you had in Bombay. Every monsoon, whatever road was built, it just goes into potholes.
But he's also receiving the money from somewhere to do that job, right? Like,
which one?
I'm trying to understand economics better. I'm not trying to...
Yeah. You tell me what money.
I mean, okay, for example, everyone who is pro-BJP would always showcase everything that Nitin Gadkari has done as an achievement of the Modi government.
Of course they will, but why is it not happening elsewhere?
I mean, my question is, so even with this 2% income tax thing, I think you'd spoken about it on AA News, that you want to reduce income tax rates to 2%.
Zero.
Okay. Even if it's zero, will Nitin Gadkari get the same amount of money to build out all the roads?
He doesn't need to. He's getting enough money by using the usual methods. That is of saying that the payment will be made to those who build the roads after their roads have been built. So there are variety of ways he has shown great dexterity. That even if you cut your thing, he will get the work done by saying, okay, you do this, and then I'll give you plus 2% more.
Dexterity is the word. Basically, sort of, in a way, some sort of business acumen.
But this is not what he should be doing. He should be given money. What is that difficult? Suppose there is a shortage of demand in the country. I print notes. That's not inflationary, because that money that goes to the unemployed who become employed and get their salary, and they'll go to the market and spend it. And so the supply glut will be over. Today's problem is that the demand side is weak. Supply is plenty, relatively. So to correct that, best thing is put money in the pockets of the people. And therefore abolish income tax. And income tax is abolished for agriculture, by the way. It is not paid much by the rich because they've got chartered accountants and corrupt income tax officials. And those below the poverty line, they don't pay. So it's in the middle class, the upper middle class, which are the innovators, which are the educated people. They are all suffering. They can't pay for their schools. Today, the schools are getting so expensive, they can't send somebody to IIT for education because the fees required is very high.
You're a Harvard professor.
Yes.
In economics.
Yes.
Why do you think your voice or your thoughts are not heard then?
That's not got anything to do with Harvard or my voice, you see. He said, basically, I'm a political threat. If I'm a minister, I won't listen to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister says, do this, and I say, no, sorry, this is wrong. It will not be, I can't do it. Then what will he do? So that is the problem. I am a person. Now, I was very successful as a commerce minister in Chandrasekhar's government because he let me do whatever I wanted to do. And we transformed a total near bankruptcy of our exchange, foreign exchange. I turned it into a growing surplus. Then Mr. Narasimha Rao came, I gave him the same advice, and he raised the growth rate from 50 years of 3.5% per year to 8% in 5 years.
On a human level, does it bother you somewhere that your opinions are not?
No, not at all. God is there.
You trust the God in the results?
Yeah, and he's doing it for the right reason. I'm glad he didn't put me in as a minister with Mr. Modi, because I would have probably been sacked after 2 months. And so God protected me.
Is your heart at peace?
Oh, yeah. So look at you. Can't you not see?
I mean, see, I'll tell you why I'm asking that. I assume everyone in the world of politics, to some degree, their heart is not at peace because of the weight of the world that they speak.
No. I don't. Those because they must be having this mistaken notion that they have to carry the weight. I don't believe in all that. I do my duty, and if I'm not able to, well, I just say God didn't give me the opportunity.
Is Nitin Gadkari's heart at peace?
I don't know. I have not talked to him. I think what he has been put through by Modi, he should not be at peace.
How much of foreign policy is PM Modi's will? All of it?
What is the foreign policy? Policy means what? You are what? Are you a non-aligned party? You are not aligned with anybody? Have you said that anywhere? If you're not aligned, then why are you buying all kinds of junk from Russia? Why are you trading in ruble without going through the exchange rates? There are so many things, you see. Are you for China or against China? You go to meetings where Chinese are. Now the Chinese are not coming anymore. But there was a time when you went and are meeting. I know China very well. I speak Chinese. I've written books on China. I know what the Chinese are up to.
What are they up to?
They are up to swallowing a good part of your territory and show the world India is not a third factor after the United States and China.
Do you believe India is not a third factor?
India is potentially the first factor. It's only a question of time. But we are at the moment at the level of the less than third. I think there's more respect for France today than there's for India.
And according to you, how do we get there?
How do we get out?
How do we get there? How do we become the first factor? Potentially we are.
Potentially. Well, of course, you grow at 10% per year for another 5 years, you will be.
Effectively, economic policy changes.
One is economic policy. Second is defeat the Chinese.
Militarily.
Yes.
Okay. Won't like a military...
And there you are already frightened. You've been conditioned. I'm telling you, if you decide to take on the Chinese, they'll run from here.
Why
They've
do you-
run before in 1967 when in that Nathula Pass near Sikkim. Then they ran away in Somdorung Chu Valley in Arunachal in 1988 when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister. Twice they made it. Now they are coming wherever they want. And Mr. Jaishankar says is we have we have agreed to a buffer zone. What do you mean buffer zone? Either it's your buffer zone he has drawn where India claims to be its territory. After that, what China claims to be its territory is the line that between that two lines is called buffer. What nonsense. Tell the Chinese to get out.
But don't you think it'll spark off a much larger conflict?
Oh, yeah, all the time worried. Yeah. Telling a woman, don't go out in the thing, you might be raped again. This is not an attitude. You're a country with an army of 1 million people. And I know what the army men think. They are very, very sad that they have to watch the Chinese do all these things. And they can't repeat.
What's the reason for the lack of action on the Indian
Because
side?
Modi is blackmailed by them.
You're talking about some internal stuff.
I'm talking about no stuff at all. I'm just telling you blackmailed. What is he blackmailed by? I might tell you later. Maybe in the elections I might tell.
During election season.
I might, but I'm not decided. It's not an easy thing to swallow.
Okay. So simply because of...
Why doesn't he call off the Chinese ambassador and say, go back. Till we clear you out of this line, we don't need the army. That's the first thing anybody would do, but he doesn't do it. Putin, what is Putin? Putin is a servant of the Chinese. He'll not do anything which the Chinese don't want to do. And all the time going and doing sashtangam, including your Mr. Jaishankar, he's been 3 times to touch their feet. So I see it from the other side.
Yeah. You know, there's a geopolitical conspiracy theory attached with your name also.
What is that geopolitical?
Like you're protected by the CIA.
Why don't you prove it?
No, it's just a fun angle of the conversation.
It's very easy to say.
Yeah.
I say, give me some proof.
So the angle is that you have criticized both the Congress and the BJP.
Yes.
And yet you are in a position of power and people keep you
Yeah, I have
around.
criticized the United States on a number of issues. And the United States knows that. In fact, I had serious problems with Harvard when I used to go almost every year for about 15, 20 years after I had come back to India. And then I found that they were the left wing had emerged very strong. So I said, to hell with you, and I came back. So this is not... when people say the CIA, I say, how do you know? Either you are KGB or you are CIA yourself. Otherwise, how would you know? Just because I speak in favor of America doesn't mean I become a CIA. I am a man who is a thinker. I think that at this moment of time, the United States is an ally. And we are already become an ally in the Quad. You know about the Quad? Those 4 nations which have come together. So where is the question?
Okay. Do you think that this podcast is going to create any waves or changes?
Every interview of mine creates waves and changes.
Actual changes in policy, in...
No, it will not. It's because these people are duffers. They don't know. They go by knee-jerk methods. If the Russians growl, they will all say, no, Swamy is nobody. He's nowhere in the picture. Don't pay any attention to him.
Okay. We had some senior so-called anti-Modi journalists on the show as well, who drew out parallels between the Indira Gandhi regime and PM Modi's regime. Do you agree with that?
No, Modi's regime is much better.
Much better. You can
Hers was a sellout. to the Russians. She'd even signed an agreement, Indo-Soviet treaty. And she's been involved in many activities which I would say makes me feel that she was a coward. She killed the railway minister.
Why?
Because he was going to blurt the truth about something. There was a Nagarwala case. Do you know this? It's too long ago. That Nagarwala case, the poor chap died in the jail after she arrested him. There were a lot of, there were a lot of things she did which was wrong. The emergency itself is pretty bad. 140,000 people put in jail without any explanation. See, how many people died in that Nasbandi, as it was called? In English, I don't know what it was called, something. But anyway, everybody knows what it is. It's to prevent them from producing children. So, Modi is nothing like that.
You want to speak a little bit about Rajiv Gandhi as well?
Rajiv Gandhi is a wonderful man. I'm sorry he was assassinated. He should have been there longer. He was young enough. I thought him a man of his word, a man who really was nationalistic. He built the Indian army the way no other prime minister built. He had even the guts to put Ramayana on television, and even to tell the Vishwa Hindu Parishad that they can they can start digging. And as soon as he solves the problem of the Babri Masjid, he will allow them to build the temple. A man, a genuinely good person. And I liked him a lot. I worked with him a lot. I even formed a government with him when I made Chandrasekhar's government. But I don't think any member of that family is anywhere near that kind of humanity which Rajiv Gandhi had.
You don't see any elements of Rajiv Gandhi in Rahul Gandhi?
No, not Rahul Gandhi is an idiot. I mean, he can say anything at any time. There was a time when he tore up Manmohan Singh. He's the Prime Minister of India. He's tearing it up. What kind of a childish thing is it? I don't think he really wants to be in politics. He keeps telling his mother, we got so much money stashed away. Why are we doing all this? Let's go and enjoy life in Europe.
Why do they still choose to be in politics?
Because Ms. Sonia Gandhi knows that even if they go to Europe, they can't escape.
What does that mean?
Because there are a lot of crimes they have committed. They will be prosecuted for that. My National Herald case itself is giving them so much hell.
So staying in politics is
essential for their survival, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about Sonia Gandhi? Because she's away from the limelight and...
No, what is there to talk about? She bluffed about her education. She went to London and she went to England first. And with no college degree, no school degree. And what was she doing? She was doing in the beginning some waitress work. After that, she went to London. What she was doing, I can't tell. Because I don't want to tell. Because I don't have any certificate to say that this is what she was doing. But she is unfit to hold any office in India. And she would have been Prime Minister but for me and the then President Abdul Kalam. Both of us found a technicality which we could stop her. And she was stopped. Otherwise, she had everything ready, all the support of her letters, everything was ready. And even on television, it was announced at 5 p.m. she will be invited to form the government. I went in the morning, and I would say to the credit of the President of India, he agreed with me. And he told her, I can't give you any, I can't invite you to be the Prime Minister till the issues raised by Dr. Subramanian Swamy are not resolved.
What do you make of Manmohan Singh's...
He's a wonderful man, but no, he doesn't have what is it called? A spine. He doesn't have a spine.
So was Sonia Gandhi effectively running the country during his reign?
Yeah, she got anything she wanted done.
So what was his role?
His role was when she was not interested, he performed very well. Was very dignified, very decent. Nothing went under his signature which would implicate him as a stooge.
How do you compare PM Modi's government to the previous government in your eyes? Because you saw
There's
both
nothing to compare because my expectations are higher.
from PM Modi.
I'm not satisfied that Modi is better than Sonia Gandhi or Modi is better than Manmohan Singh. I'm not satisfied with that. All these efforts I put in. In fact, Mr. Modi took all my help when he could. And then the moment he became Prime Minister, Swamy, who is that Swamy? You know, that kind of mentality he has. He's ungrateful, but that's not the reason. I am only saying that there are so many things that we can do for the sake of the country. But he's not doing it. He has sold out to the Russians. He has sold out to the Chinese. And he makes out as if something, and all these lies that are being spread about, nobody has come, nobody has gone, koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi. That's what he said. And somebody said the Chinese are coming into Indian territory.
So I'm asking you all these detailed questions about the past because election season is coming up.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of first-time voters. The basic question is, how does one know who to vote for?
I certainly think that BJP will win. But I would like to see Modi either not contest or lose in the contest. He is, in my opinion, now not a safe person to be in the Prime Minister's chair.
Not a safe person.
It is not safe for India for him to be in the Prime Minister's chair because he seems to have no values which I don't know whether he had it before or not, but he didn't show up. But now it's quite clear that he is a person who he believes in a kind of dictatorship. And it could develop. The extreme example is that of Hitler. The moderate example of this is Putin. These people started off looking as if they were Democrats who wanted to change things. But in the end, they became monsters. So I think basically I have been staying very strongly. It's not hidden. I've been saying that he should be either defeated if he's put up, but best of all, he's not put up.
Which won't happen?
Can't say, because right now, situation is such. There are people who think that this is not the time to remove him. Maybe after the elections, remove him after 1 year. These are the things that are being told to me.
Within the BJP?
Obviously, I won't talk to anybody else.
Any other predictions specifically about
India is going to be a great country? I am 100% certain. All the things are falling in place. It requires a person who will make the people feel that, that what problem with Modi is, I do this, I will do this, I am doing this. I want people to feel that they must be doing it themselves, but this is the way to do it. So that kind of leadership comes, I think India will be within 5-6 years, it can be amongst the first three, in fact, or first two, because we can easily overtake China.
Hypothetically speaking, if the BJP is in power again, post these elections, and PM Modi is reinstated as the Prime Minister, what do you think his moves will be over 1 year?
Well, he will be making sure that there's no more elections for a long time.
As in elections will be...
Yeah, it will be postponed. Because then he will think now the country is totally with him and he can do what he likes. You just read Germany of 1935, 32 to 37 rather. Same mentality. Started off as a Democrat, And then he saw this huge wave of organized crowds. Many things which I didn't know about him in Gujarat I've come to know. I can't tell you on this forum. I have seen how he has behaved with some people who have become vulnerable and miserable. So there are many things that I know, which today is not the right time for me to speak as long as I'm in the BJP.
Do you intend on leaving?
No, I will not leave. I've never been in any other party. I mean, the party names have changed. Jansangh became Janata Party became BJP. But there's no reason, because my first priority is the Hindutva issue. And I've been succeeding. I was the one who got Kailash Mansarovar opened from the Chinese, talking to Deng Xiaoping.
I actually want to talk to you about Kailash. I was going to bring it up later, but I'm glad you brought it up. I think you were one of the first Indians to go there after independence.
Not only first Indian, I was the first Indian who got it opened. It was closed after 1935 or something like that.
Isn't it closed currently as well?
No, because of the tensions that is between our countries.
Will it open?
Of course, it'll open if their relations improve.
Okay. Human question. What was it like seeing Mount Kailash?
Oh, it's indescribable. It's indescribable.
Did something shift inside you?
Yeah, it creates a huge impact. Huge impact.
Like what?
It's the whole panorama is indescribable. Both and Mansarovar also, that lake. Go and have a dip in it. Oh my God, what pleasure you get.
That's all you want to say?
What else is thing, they say?
I have heard some very esoteric and abstract stuff from a lot of people who've seen it and who've been there.
Yeah.
They've said that they've got a new mission for life after seeing Mount Kailash.
Well, maybe not for me, but for me, I've a sense of achievement because I got it opened. It was closed for such a long time. And I got Mr. Deng Xiaoping to agree to open it.
What is the purpose of your life?
My purpose of my life is to do what I like. That's nothing more. I don't know. What I like keeps coming and going. There's no particular purpose of life. I certainly would like to see India as a very strong country, which has recovered all the lost property of India, the land property, and grows at 10% per year for 10 years.
Okay. But so the underlying purpose is all about your country.
Yes, naturally. What do I need? I've got everything I want.
Because these imposed geographical boundaries encase the culture that gave us our identities.
Whatever it is, we know that from Himalaya to the Indian Ocean, we have been recognized in the Vedas also. People say, no, Hindustan is a term given by some Muslims abroad. Nonsense. It's there in the Vedas, Hindustan. So, in fact, the word Hindustan comes from a Hind to this Hindu Sagar. You put them together, you get Hindu.
When you're to escape during the emergency,
yes.
Do you want to share that story?
Well, it's technically it's a long story, but basically what I did is first time when the emergency was declared, I went underground, and I was hiding and then traveling around the country in disguise.
Really?
Yeah.
Where were you hiding?
I was hiding in various houses because the RSS has houses everywhere because their Swayamsevaks are available. And of course, my dress changed. I wore the false dadi and a sardar thing, and I went around the country. And suddenly, Jai Prakash Narayan sent me a message saying that, listen, your going around the country is of no value to us. What we need is where you go and propagate propaganda. And that is the best place is America, England. These press is read here. Their BBC is heard here. So we go to England and the United States and campaign and tell people what's going on, because we are getting information that people don't believe that 140,000 people have been put in jail without any reason or cause. So I went abroad by first going from Madras to Colombo and then flying over to London. And then I went to the United States and campaigned. Of course, Harvard gave me back my teaching job. So I had money also.
Were you not afraid for your family's safety in India?
Well, I mean, I have a very tough wife. She herself has written a book, roller coaster, life in a roller coaster with Swamy, or something like that. It's a bestseller. So she's a tough lady. She's a Parsi, but she's a very tough lady. And she brought up two children, small children, Suhasini, who was then 2 years old, and Geeta Jali, who was then 5 years old. And she brought them up. Yes, there was 20 months of being without her. And I went and then decided one day that since there are hardly any demonstrations anymore, people are thinking that everything is shut down. So I must do something. So I thought the best thing is come back to India, slip into Parliament, make a short speech and disappear again, so that the world knows that we have such a massive network that Swamy can come despite 18 cases under his head, Interpol notice, all that. He came to India and he went to Parliament, and all these people just looking aghast, and then he disappears. They can't find him, and he ends up in America again. So that completely smashed Mrs. Gandhi's thing that everybody is agreed now, all trains are going on time and all buses are going on time, that sort of thing. So that Mrs. Gandhi's decision to go for election came out of that incident of mine, and then she lost.
Okay. This has been a very bold podcast, sir. That's all.
Your problem, not mine.
Is it though? Is it my problem? Is it my problem?
No, so when you say bold, I only can say for me it's natural. Speaking my mind.
I constantly think about this: what is the purpose of life and career question. In media, it's about just trying to extract the most amount of information, especially in this format. I come into every single podcast with no judgments. Tomorrow, if I'm podcasting with PM Modi, I'll erase the memory of this podcast and go in and just try asking him what I'm feeling on the spot, which is what I tried doing here with you. So I truly hope I've done justice to your mind and the sentences within your heart.
Sure, you have done a very good job in extracting a lot of information from me.
No, thank you for just being so open, sir. I literally don't think out of the 650 podcasts that we've recorded, I don't think anyone's been so open. So that's a compliment.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you allowed us to, patiently extract the information.
That's right.
Lots of respect, sir. Trust me, I feel, as I said at the start, there's a lot of young listeners who are seeing you for the first time. So thanks for whacking their brains a little bit. Appreciate your presence.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind.
Bye. Jai Hind.
That was the episode with Dr. Swamy, and something tells me that I'll be recording an episode with him once again. So please, first and foremost, tell me what you thought of this one. Drop your suggestions as well as your questions in the comment section down below. I will be heading to New Delhi once again very, very soon to ask him all these questions. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I'm getting so much of my own political education through all of these episodes. Honestly, believe that it's very, very important for all of us to get multiple inputs when forming our own political opinions. Whether you are so-called right-wing or so-called left-wing or so-called pro-BJP or so-called anti-BJP or so-called pro-AAP or so-called anti-Subramanian Swamy. First, listen to all the sides of the argument. First, fill your head with data and fill your head with perspectives. So I hope you're enjoying this political series as much as I'm enjoying recording it. TRS will be back soon. Dr. Subramanian Swamy will be back on TRS very, very soon.